Hey guys, welcome back to a new video test comparison today between the Mi 10 Ultra on my left and the Huawei P40 Pro on my right. This is 1080p 30 frames per second, and let me know all the stuff about it. So colors, details, stabilization, audio quality, dynamic range, that it seems a little bit better on the P40 Pro, but I don't know here from the screens. Let me know also that in the section down below in the comments. This is a handheld, so let me know which stabilization is better. And also the Mi 10 Ultra is limited at 1080p 30 frames per second with the front-facing camera, whereas the P40 Pro can shoot up to 4K at 60 frames per second on the front-facing camera. And in this video we're gonna discover which one takes better videos than the other. So various scenes with all the lenses, ultra wide, main lens, zoom lens, and all this stuff. So stay tuned for the comparison. Let's begin. And also I have to mention that the Huawei P40 Pro has autofocus on the front-facing camera. So here I can tap on the screen on the P40 Pro. As you can see, it can focus the background as well as my face. I'm touching the screen, whereas the Mi 10 Ultra doesn't, because it can only set the exposure tapping on the screen, but not the focus, because the Mi 10 Ultra has a fixed focus on the front-facing camera, whereas the P40 Pro has autofocus and eye tracking system on the front-facing camera as well. Let's begin the comparison. Starting with the 1080p at 30 frames per second. This is working. Let me know colors, details, dynamic range, and all that stuff. This is working. Let me know the stabilization, how it is on both the devices, and which one is better. So let's go ahead and run. This is obviously handheld, so the stabilization is only the one that is built in on the phones. Let me know down in the comments which one do you prefer at 1080p 30 frames per second. Same 1080p 30 frames per second test, but this time with the ultra wide. As you can see, the Mi 10 Ultra is way wider than the P40 Pro, but it has some cons, like maybe less details or less dynamic range. But I want to know your opinion down in the comments. This is working. Obviously I can easily reach the camera with my finger on the Mi 10 Ultra because that's so wide. And let's go ahead and run. So let me know stabilization, dynamic range here, and audio quality. Let me know down in the comments. I've switched now on both devices at 1080p at 60 frames per second. Let me know in the comments if something has changed on 68 frames per second, like details, stabilization, colors, or something. This is working. Let me know also the audio quality, and this is running. Both the devices handheld, obviously. Dynamic range at 60 frames per second. I remind you that the Mi 10 Ultra can shoot up to 8K with the main lens and the 5x optical zoom lens. but I won't do that in this video. And the P40 Pro up to 4K at 60 frames per second. Now I've switched on the ultra wide, 1080p 60 frames per second on both. Let me know how's the quality on both, which one is better. Obviously wider field of view again on the mid and ultra, but it is a little bit different that than on 1080p 30 frames per second. This is walking, let me know the stabilization, and this is running. So dynamic range with the ultra wide at 60 frames per second. As you can see, my finger is still there. Now I will do a quick zoom test so you can see the quality in a long range zoom and also the smoothness of the two phones. So starting with the P40 Pro, I can easily zoom in, and when it reaches 5 times obviously kicks in the periscope zoom lens here, up to 15 times hybrid zoom, whereas on the mid and ultra I can easily zoom in, and when it reaches 5 times the optical zoom lens kicks in too, and this is 15 times hybrid zoom on both devices, 1080p 30 frames per second. So you can see the stabilization, the details, and the overall quality. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts. Now let's do a quick autofocus test so we can test the speed of the autofocus. This is the P40 Pro main lens, 1080p 30 frames per second. It seems pretty fast. Now let's do the same speed test on the mid and ultra main lens, 1080p 30 frames per second. This is focus speed on the mid and ultra. Seems pretty fast as well. This is 1080p at 30 frames per second in almost pitch black. It's about 9 p.m. here. It's very dark, so let's see both phones how can handle this situation. Let's test the flare. This is with the main camera, and let's try zoom in into the moon. Firstly with the mid and ultra. So let's zoom in a lot, tap on the moon to set the exposure. This is the best I can get, I think. Let's try to swipe down. This is the best. Oh yeah, this is the best I can get with the mid and ultra. Both phones are handheld in this moment. Let's try if we can get the same result on the P40 Pro. That's okay. This is 15 times optical hybrid zoom, not optical, obviously, with both phones. Impressive. And now guys, you probably won't believe it, but this is 1080p 30 frames per second with the ultra wide on both phones. You can clearly see how the P40 Pro has a bigger sensor on its ultra wide. you can clearly see how brighter the image is on the P40 Pro. This is very impressive for an ultra wide cam. Basically what I'm seeing right now is what the Mid and Ultra is seeing, and it can't even focus. Okay, it focused, but the P40 Pro is unbelievable. It's ISO sensitivity that goes up to 51,200 is impressive. It can clearly see what I can't see. No words. So finishing this video with a front-facing low-light video test. This is 1080p 30 frames per second in a low-light environment. Obviously there is a light here, but I can go in almost pitch black here, so you can you can see the differences. And also I can activate the front-facing flash on the P40 Pro. As you can see now, the display of my P40 Pro turned white, but we don't have this option on the Mi 10 Ultra. So now Mi 10 Ultra is using the light that is coming from the P40 Pro display, but the Mi 10 Ultra doesn't have this option. So if I turn it off, yeah, like this, you can clearly see that this is a very dark environment. So finishing this video here, I wanna thank you for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Obviously subscribe for more, like and comment this video, because I want to know your opinion down in the comments, and I really want you to subscribe on my channel, because only if you subscribe, turn on notifications, comment, like my videos, this is the only way I can continue uploading some new content for you, because without you I can't go on uploading new content. So thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Cheers.